Okay, cool. Um, y- y'all, are y'all having, when you read this, how does reading this make y'all feel? I'm genuinely curious because as I'm reading, I'm like, oh, I'm not good at that. Oh, I'm not good at that. Oh, I'm being so critical of myself as I'm reading this. So I'm wondering if you guys are doing the same or what it's like for y'all.
Yes, I am definitely doing that. Being very critical. Um, and obviously this is we're trying to go deeper and like apply this. So writing it down, like what I don't have my
Yeah.
notebook right with me. But like for example, my book is also outdated and I forgot until I started reading it. My book is from like he's like 50 years old. So I think because he said something like he's talking about Billy Graham. Okay, this I have an outdated version. But and so chapter 5 was called The Law of E.F. Hutton. Um and it's really the law of influence kind of muddled down, but he's talking about people will listen to the real leader. And it just reminded me, y'all, in June when we were like kind of pushing for Emerald, Jordan in my thread was trying to do like giveaways, pretty much like add to, and like literally like no one responded, like a couple, but Jordan was like, "Your girls don't listen to me. Like they are gonna listen to you. You're gonna run on your." And I was like, "Yeah, they
So
actually didn't."
true.
And of course in July, and so I was like, "Dang, that I have like more rapport with my girls than Jordan did. Jordan does." And so yeah, that was like a big one that stood out to me.
Yeah, it's so true. Um, I, as I'm reading this, I really am trying to pull examples of like, how does this apply? Because a lot of this is under a corporate structure and ours is different. We are leading volunteer armies. It is different. But the concepts can relate. And so I'm going to go, if y'all don't care, I'm going to go to it's the law of solid ground on mine, and that's law 6. Because this one talks about how basically, you guys, like the law of solid ground is just they are consenting to go on a journey with you, which I love. Like that applies 1,000,000%. People are literally saying, Jordan Gibson, I want to go on this journey with you. Amy Price, I want to go on this journey with you. And so to me, that looks like when people trust us in that way, we have to shut our back door. Like people know when it is not. Like to me, that is like the law of solid ground. Number one is like, have you shut the back door or is quitting an option? Because if quitting is an option, then you're skipping this one and people can feel it. And so that to me is always a big one. And I think that kind of goes into like the character and confidence and stuff. But that's a big one to me. But the first 3 words he brings up in here are you build trust by competence, character, and connection. Competence, character, connection. And I was like, okay, competence. That's more than rank, right? Like to me, that's way more than like because I felt competent at gold. And so, how does this, when I say the word, you're building trust in your team by your competence, what does that look like for you guys? Like, how does that apply for our business?
Shoot, I was already unmuted. I'm sorry if y'all heard me chewing.
We
Um,
didn't.
Good.
You're so
Well, I
quiet.
think I think this is where I'm always like wanting to balance because he talks about in here being able to admit your faults, and that's like the sign of a good leader. But then I'm also like, okay, that also can play into your competence. Is like if you're not your faults, but your mistakes or like where you're wrong. And so it's kind of like a delicate balance because I actually believe it's really important when you admit that you did something wrong or whatever, um, and your shortcomings and your failures. And but then it's also like, okay, but you also want them to know that what you're doing right now is working and you're competent and you can help them do it too. Because sometimes I feel like when people have really big goals, I do doubt my competence because I'm thinking about, well, can I help them do that in a timeline they want to do it? Can I like help them make that much money quickly so they can quit their job? Like I do doubt myself sometimes. So
Which is
yeah.
funny because they're coming to you saying they want them because they trust you to get them there or to help guide them. So, like, they trust your competence. You don't.
Yeah.
which is
I
interesting.
feel I feel like this. I have two examples for this. I when and this is honestly an excuse. When we didn't hit Emerald in June, I was like, I feel Emerald though. Like I'm working really hard. I have the team. Like this is my Emerald team. And so like I felt like I believed in my competence, but like I think Amy is a really good example of having competence. Like I believe she has the abilities and skill set now to lead an Emerald team, but she's not Emerald yet, but she has the competence. You know, like
Yeah.
it's her abilities and her mindset and like her skill sets that are competent enough, but the rank doesn't say so. Like you said in the beginning.
Totally. What I wrote down is very much so all of that. I said, I know what I'm doing, or I am actively figuring it out with you. And that to me is competence. It has nothing to do with the rank or arriving or having all the answers. It is simply either I know what I'm already doing and I'm teaching it to you, or I'm actively figuring it out with you and showing you how I'm kind of hitting those mistakes. But I'm also going to get the wins, and you're going to see those too. And I'm going to refine this process for you so that I can share it with you. Right. Like, so to me, that is competence. And that's what I love. And that's where the mistakes come in. Right. So like if you're not failing a little bit, then you're probably not hitting this competent mark, because you have to fail in order to be competent. You have to. Okay, the other one is character. And I said, well, let me just read this really, really fast, and then we can talk about that one. So, hold on, where'd it go? What did I say about this one? Oh, character. I just wrote down an example, and I said, I feel when somebody's character is high, an example of this would be when I hand someone a team jam and I know that they are going to prepare and present with excellence. That to me is a sign of really good character. I know they're going to take care of the baby that I'm handing them, basically. Hey, Lauren. And so to me, that's an example of character inside of our business. I know I can hand it over, and whether they do it 100% well as me, that's not the key here. The key is, are they going to prepare and present with excellence to with their capabilities? So anyway, do y'all have another example of how character, like how we build trust? Maybe it's somebody, an experience you've had with an upline, sideline, downline, something, but yeah, how their character has built trust. What is it, Jordan? Is there a snake?
No, I was checking on my spider. Sorry.
Oh God.
Disregard me. If there's a
I was
snake,
about to say it's probably her nasty spider with all those babies all over it. Like
Nasty.
if it was a snake, I would literally be passed out. I would not be on this earth.
Another example of character, I think Tamara Holloway is like, really, she has been a rock for me in this business. And so anytime that I have come to her, I always know she's going to be there. I always know that she is going to respond. I know that she's going to ask questions. She's going to give me solid advice. And if she doesn't know, she's going to go find out and then come back to me. And so just her the way that she presents herself, and also when I'm in her presence, and I'm never her level 4 or whatever I am to her. I'm not her level 5. Like, I'm Jordan. I'm somebody that she appreciates. I'm a leader on her team. And there's never been like this level thing that has made, and so to me that she is a true sign of like great character in this business. What are some other examples we can think of inside of our business that have to do with character? It's kind of a broad word, but
I guess well, it meant a lot to me that like Haley Ross invited Kaylee and me to come be part of like what they were doing this weekend, and they didn't have to do that. That was their team retreat, and she didn't have to do that. They could have just kept it this private event, and so we went, and of course we were respectful of their time, and after the training was over, we went ahead and left and let them do their thing, but she was completely willing to let us hang out the whole rest of the day. And I mean, that spoke greatly of her character, that it wasn't just about her and her team.
Totally. No, I love that.
I have a funny about that. And it kind of ties into what we're talking about. He's shaking his head. He texted me. He was like, "Why did Amy go to Haley's retreat?" He was like, "Is she trying to recruit her?" And I was like, and the care, and I was like, "No, honey, not that at all." But like, that is like what I think maybe outside people like wouldn't understand. Like, no, it was truly for culture and for like leadership and guidance, and just. And so I was like, like that kind of.
And to be fair, Brittany Duke invited me too. Haley had mentioned it, opened it up to people on my team earlier. And I didn't really understand what all was going on until later. But so I mean that spoke volumes of the character culture on our team, that not just one person invited me, but two different people invited me.
Yeah, it really is yeah, go ahead, Lauren.
I was going to say the same thing for B-Duke. She invited Nunez and her girl Amberly to their sip and see. And she totally didn't have to do that because I know it was like it was for something else, but I thought that was really special. But something else I was going to say in regards to character is like when we do like big team things, or like if you invite us to dinner or something for like a team something, like you pick up the tab or the appetizers or like whatever it is, like you're always like giving in that way. So I just want to say thank you for that. Speaks volumes of your character, Jordan.
Thank you. It was weird. It was funny. I was reading this and I had two instances this weekend that really could have challenged my character. Inside of my business too, Jordan, not just that one too. And so, you can tell when somebody, what their motives are. And I think that's what that comes to. What is their motives? Are they here to just, bring other people up, or are they being selfish in their business? And you can tell that. Okay. And then connection is the other one. And Lauren, you talked about this actually last week. You build trust by connecting with people. And while I don't think that, I may not be like the best at relationships, I do think that I'm good at connecting with people. I think that I really am genuinely curious about other people and like want to get to know them. And but a connection in this business might look a little different. Maybe it's a hard conversation you're avoiding with somebody. If you leave a hard conversation on the table, you guys, in this business, it is never, ever, ever going to make it better, ever. Like if you have emotions about having a conversation with somebody because you're afraid they're going to leave, and if you can't go have that respectful conversation, like that's on you, but you have to go have that conversation. It will always, always, always come back. Always. I have so many examples of this. Jordan, did you have one? You were unmuted, but I didn't know if you meant to be unmuted.
I still, yeah.
Well, I couldn't hear you, but you unmuted, so I wanted to make sure.
Oh, I was back on the character thing, but we can move on from it. I was just going to brag on.
No, that's okay. Oh no, you don't have to do that. Yeah, it was a hard one.
Where there was a girl on our team who could have signed up with a girl on my team, or Jordan, and Jordan reached out about it, and like she was totally going to sign up with Jordan. And Jordan was like, "Nope, I don't feel right about it. We're going to sign her up under my girl, which would be Jordan's level 3." And she was like, "I will coach her." And I was like, "No, you won't." I didn't say, like, I literally didn't tell you that, but I was like, "No, that's not how this is going to work. Like, we're going to give her the coaching. You're not going to treat her like a level 1." But it's just like Jordan's character is just like, and I know that was probably a lot of like prayer and the Holy Spirit too, but my level 1, like, would not have been okay with it, and I know that she respects and loves Jordan even more for that, because those new business builders are not worth the people that are already here, and like that's not the culture of our team. So bragging on.
Thank you. That girl actually decided not to do it at all after I told her that, and I said sorry. Okay.
Yeah, I actually love that one because I think that's so pertinent to our business, because how many times have we had people come to us and like, I used to do Plexus, and I feel like on our team, we're always like, okay, well, tell us about that. Like, is your former sponsor still active? Are they not? Like, we like have those conversations instead of just being like, oh, no worries. Like, you can just sign up with me. And then I also think too, something that's important to me with character in this business is that people are, I don't know any other word to say it except like they're posting the truth. Like they're posting an accurate depiction of like their life in this business. And I'm not saying that like you can't vision cast and it not be true. I just mean, like, I feel like there are some people, whenever I see their posts and like I know their stories and and I'm just kind of like, hold on, like, be like, and maybe that's a piece about being like maybe more vulnerable too. And I feel like they're missing that piece sometimes and they're just trying to make everything look rosy. I don't know, maybe that's it. But to me, something about your character shines through in how you show up on social media. And so I feel like that's important to me too in this business.
Yeah, that goes. I mean, the very first thing we said about the law of solid ground was that you're going on a journey with them. They're going on a journey with you. And social media is a part of that journey, right? Like that is actually where you're sharing a lot of the ups and downs in a positive way, in a I'm gonna figure this out way. And so yeah, totally that fits. Um connection really fast. So connection, I said make you connect with people when you're having hard conversations, when you're problem solving together, when you're sharing wins and celebrating each other, when you're getting to know each other's family, and when you get to know what makes them tick, what motivates them, what color personality they are. And so all of that I feel like goes into connecting with people, and it's all necessary. Like there have been girls. I don't think it is a secret. I haven't always felt like super supported by my uplines. But I can tell you that I have felt connected to them, and that has been very important to me. And so I think even, especially with our girls that have a gift of connection, I've seen diamonds, you guys, like they may not be the best coach in this business. They may not know all the ins and outs, but they are incredible connectors, care about people a whole lot, and they're diamond. Like, and so I think this actually supersedes knowing the things, right? Like the skill sets. Like this is where it all starts, is connecting with people.
Is that what you mean by you haven't felt supported by them? Meaning, like your lid was higher than them, and they're like in their leadership.
I think leadership lid possibly, but I think even like uplines, right, like not just immediate.
Because you
They
said you felt
never.
by them, you didn't feel supported by them, but you felt connected to them. So what does that mean?
Yeah, so like they would ask me how my family is, or they would find me at events and give me hugs and talk to me and ask me questions. And if I came to them, they would add value to me. Or if I had a hard situation in my business and I needed advice, I knew I could always go to them and they would offer really sound advice. But I didn't always feel supported by them, as in like they weren't like in the trenches with me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I think that connection is a little bit different. It's its own piece, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm like, am I like that with some of my girls? Because I feel like, and I know Haley Ross would say this too, like I feel like I'm really good at being a friend. Like, how are you? Like, we don't have to chat about Plexus. Now I'm like trying to think if I lead enough.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's a good reflection too, because you look at the 5 levels of leadership, and I think it might be in level 2 or 3. It talks about how you either lean towards more of this connection relationship piece, or you lean more towards a productivity push, let's go. Like, and so we all lean towards one more or the other more. And so maybe you lean more here. I would actually say that you are really good at this piece, but I do think you're good at this piece too individually. I don't know how you are with your team on that part. So that would be maybe a question you could ask Amy, and she could tell you if she wants to be pushed more or challenged more or held accountable more or all things.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I just really loved those 3 words. I thought that those like really summed up most of the chapter. But the other thing he says, so once you have built trust, your character communicates consistency, potential, and respect. And I really liked those words too. The consistent, well, y'all already know I lean more towards productivity. So of course I'm like, yeah, character, consistency, let's go. But you can't get too much done in life if you're only working on the days when you feel good. Character communicates consistency. If my trainer only came on the days where he felt like it, he would not be a very good trainer. some days this, and I'm not saying you have to be on your phone 27, you can't have boundaries, like that's not it, right? But there is a consistency to us showing up, a consistency to us doing our stuff that does portray you are on solid ground here. You can trust me. I can help you get where you want to go. And so, and y'all know what those look like. So anyway, I liked that piece, and I think I look at somebody like Jessica Heffley. She does not sit down and do her IPA every day. But there is a delegation piece to this, and so sometimes you guys, it's not us doing it. Sometimes it's us delegating so that it gets done, or paying somebody so that it gets done. Especially as you become a senior Ruby, Emerald, Sapphire, you're not going to be able to do all the stuff. Like, and so sometimes you've got to get it done, but you can't be the one to do it. And so there's that.
Okay. Also,
And
surely she did something. We got to figure it out, because what did she sign, like 18 people the other month? I was like, how?
Yeah,
24.
she did. When she wants to do IPA, she can. 24. When she wants to do IPA, she can, and she did. She wanted to. Is she? Oh yeah, Jordan and her nice. That's consistency. That's the accountability we've been waiting for.
Yeah. So today I got on a call. Oh, I'm sorry. Who was talking?
No, go.
Okay. So I had all my golds get on a call. We, because it's been bugging me a little bit that it has been real quiet in our chat, and I feel like, people could be doing more, and I've got 4 golds that are wanting to go senior gold, and I'm like, okay, then I've got to let them start stepping up. So I got them on a call today and delegated somebody sending a training video every day, and they got to pick which day they wanted. And I'm like, well, that's going to make them watch a video so that they'll post a video, and surely that'll start producing growth. And it was a really good call. We're going to do a book study together as a team and things like that I'm figuring out that it's going to have to be delegated for the consistency to take off in some of my new leaders. So I'm excited about that. I hope it pays off.
I love that. I remember one time Jessica asking me, she was like, have you ever asked your leaders how they want to lead, like what they want to lead and in what capacity? And I was like, no, doesn't everybody want to create an IPA challenge? Doesn't everybody want to lead a Zoom call? Who doesn't want to host a retreat? And then I remember Sally Lewis being like, I will never host a retreat. That is not on my to-do list. Not doing it. That's not even scary. Like, it's like something I literally want to vomit about. Like, I don't want to do it. She didn't say vomit, but like, it's like not something she wants to do. And I quickly realized, I was like, man, some people, one, they don't know how they want to lead, and two, there are areas that's not their gift. So while I do think everybody needs to like stretch and grow, and like sharing a link in a thread, like literally anyone can do that, and I think that's a great baby step. But it's like, as you're developing these leaders, Amy, it's like, okay, well, maybe she has a gift of training. Like, great, let's get her leading some more of our team Zooms. Let's get her doing XYZ. Okay, well, I'm really noticing Brittany Howard has some really good podcasts on this. If you haven't already started listening to her stuff, and she talks about how she's like figured out what her team's gifts are and making sure she's like really pushing them into those. So anyway, you're gonna encounter more and more of this as you discover their gifts. And maybe you have somebody who's really good at not just sharing the link, but like, hey, can you go post that on Health and Happiness and share your notes with that? And maybe in a couple weeks, we actually have a blank spot on our Monday night call. Would you want to like share about how you're applying this? And so like, there's like step 2, 3, 4, 5, so good job. That was a long way to say good job. Another thing, consistency, you guys, anybody here ever said, hey, I'm doing a 50-person reach out, and then you didn't finish it? Okay. Like, I know that I earn my team's trust and when I finish those, because I can show them the results that come from it when I finish. So I was literally sitting here, I was like looking at, I only got halfway done through mine that I promised I was going to do myself last week. Now I've got to go finish because my character is on the line. Anyway, challenges, like there's little things here, you guys, that just really build trust. Did you say you were going to leave Team Zoom? Great. Don't back out. Like, I'm sorry. Like, don't back out. Like, that's not, you're not allowed to do that. So, okay. And then the other one was like potential and respect. We don't have to talk about those for a long time because we can move on to the other one, but, yeah. Did y'all have anything on the character communicates potential and character communicates respect that you highlighted in your book that you just really loved? If not, we'll move on. Shake your head if you don't have anything. Okay. I didn't like the other two. Okay, who cares about respect? Okay, let's go to the law of addition really fast. Well, I remember when I first read this, I was like, law of addition, that sounds dumb. Like, that doesn't even sound like what is the law of addition? But if I had to sum it up in one sentence from the whole chapter, it's not how far we advance ourselves, but it's how far we advance others. And this really is an others focused business. And we focus on ourselves, my comfort zone, my time, yes, this is law 5. My comfort zone, my time, my goals, mine. This business not only feels harder, but it is harder. Like inside of your business will feel harder. It's the one you're missing. I need to start sending. I think I have an extra one, Jordan. I'm gonna mail you one. Actually, I'm gonna text Jazz as soon as we get done. Will you send? This is part of your Emerald gift.
Well, this book of mine is really solid, so I'm gonna send it to y'all.
Yes, we want to read your 1930s version.
I don't know though. It may be the same information though, because mine talked about Billy Graham, and it's called the Law of Addition.
I did too.
Oh, what Jordan was just saying does not sound. I was not even born.
You're really cute though. And so I love that when he talks about this way, he's like, everything we do, we're either adding to someone and subtract. And this goes in, y'all know, you're all married. Like Lauren, you're more recently married. Every single thing you say, you're either adding or subtracting. Like they're constantly being like, well, you suck, or that was great. Like everything you do with your kids, the way you talk to them, treat them, the like even the food I make, the color plate I give them adds or subtracts to them right now in this season. And so, I can think of many times where I have felt added to by my uplines. I will never forget being in a car with Tamara, and all she did was just ask me questions. And I felt added value to, because she just was guiding me with questions. Nobody asked me questions. Like, I need somebody to ask me questions. So have you ever felt, and we have all felt like when somebody has like negatively impacted us, whether it was a teammate. I'm sure that if you're mine, I have probably negatively impacted you at some point in some way. And I love that he talks about how it was unintentional. Most of the time when people negatively impact people, it is unintentional. But he says in 90% of the time when we add value, it is intentional. And I love that, because we have to constantly be intentional about adding value to our teammates. So one, I would love for y'all to share if you have an example of how an upline has added value to you intentionally. And two, I would like to have a little bit of a conversation about how we do this to our teams more. My added value example was Tamara. She literally just asked me questions. I didn't pay her for her time. I'm her level 4 or whatever, So that was an example for that. And Brittany Duke in our chat just now, making the announcement that I didn't have to do it, that we were 5 minutes until team time. Like, that added value to me. That made me feel warm and fuzzy. And like Brittany was like excited about this, So like that made me feel good. That added value to me today. What about y'all? How has somebody added value to you?
Okay, so Jordan, like sometimes I can like tell when you're adding value to me, but I still love it. Like I'm like, oh, I feel like she's doing this intentionally, and like I still love it.
It
And
probably
so
is
like
intentional.
so I think for me, like I notice when you ask my opinion on things and when you're like wondering like what I think about stuff or if I think it will work, like I feel like you know that I like to be able to like be in the know and like help with things. And so I feel like you intentionally ask my opinion on stuff because you know that's something that I really enjoy. So yeah.
Mhm. And I wouldn't ask you if I didn't actually want it, by the way.
Oh, I know.
Okay. I'm going to give y'all a few categories for y'all to think about, okay? Because I know y'all have examples. So he says somebody has lifted you up, helped advance you, made you feel a part of something that was bigger than yourself, assisted in helping you become who you were made to be. Those are the 4 categories he gives inside of this. Has somebody done that for you? Cassandra, I'll give you an example of Cassandra real quick, and then Amy, you go. You know, her gift truly is spreadsheets. Like she is a numbers wizard. And I may not talk to her for months, but when I need her, that girl is ready to pull a spreadsheet. And that adds so much value to me. And so yeah, there's one.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jordan's always really good about like reminding about like credit card declines and helping run numbers and that sort of thing. And that's something that is, you know, like is definitely helpful. And I know she doesn't have to do that. But that's, and then too, like trusting me to lead some Zooms here and there and things like that, that just like, I know it makes me better. And I appreciate that because it empowers me to do them for my own team.
That's really good. I'm writing these down. Pulling reports, trusting you with responsibility, asking their opinion, lifting them up. I know whenever Cassandra's really good about sending me gifts. She's been sending me a FabFitFun box for like 6 years. And she's really good gift giver. So sorry if you signed up under me. It's not my gift, but I will not be sending you a FabFitFun box every quarter. But that's another way I you know, just seeing them, you know, I sent a few girls, so a few of our emeralds, I sent them a Alaska t-shirt just to be like, I can't wait to see you. Like that was a way to add value to them. I see you. I know you can earn this. Let's go do this. I'm trying to think what else. There's probably so many. Brittany, go.
Well, I was just going to say, I think sometimes it's also a little bit of trial and error because we're trying to learn our people on our team. And so when we think we're adding value in one way to them, it's not that they don't find it value, but it may not be something that really speaks to them. So like, I think Jordan, I was kind of telling you, there's a girl on my team who's like, because of her work schedule, she hasn't been able to see her little girl a lot. And so I was like, hold on, I'm just gonna send her something. I'm gonna send her a necklace with her little girl's name on it and like tell her you're a great mom. And truthfully, I don't know if like that's even something that she will love or if she even like loves wearing necklaces. But I'm just like, I hate that she's feeling that way. And so we've had conversations, but like, what if her love language is like getting gifts or something? And so, anyways, I think I just want to say that I actually don't know that about her, but I'm kind of like, I'm figuring her out. Like I'm figuring out my team sometimes and figuring out like what is their, whether it's their love language or just the way they feel added to, if that makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah. But
And
I
I
also
and I oh,
go ahead. No,
And
you
I
go
think
ahead.
either way, she's gonna feel seen. You know, like whether gift giving is her gift or not, like you're adding value in some way.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes we can overthink this too. Like how can I add value? Is it good enough? Like I've gotten into that trap. Am I adding enough value with this? Does it even matter? Is it worth my time? Is it worth my money? Like I have gone, and I know there's been times where Zach's like, Jordan, like you cannot worry about perfection when you're adding value to people. You simply just have to go serve people. Like, and let their gratitude like be the indicator here. And so I'm totally with you on that. Like if I know Chandler well enough now that if I sent her a hat from my Plexus print, she's gonna be like, that is so cute, but I'm not wearing that. Like she's not a hat girl. Like I know. And so like there are those types of things, but at the end of the day, like they felt seen, they felt loved. So um I I love this list. So if you can have this somewhere, I can send this to y'all too. How can I lift them up, help them advance, make them feel part of something bigger than themselves, assist in helping them become who they were meant to be. I love that list. And sometimes that is literally just sending them, hey, I see this in you. And that is what Tamara has continued to do for me for years. So because mentally we all know how any type of leadership, like it's just hard, but I see this in you. And so I think that's always been really helpful for me. How do you know if you are adding value to your team? Do you make things better for the people who follow you? I'm like, and when I asked that question to myself, I was like, I know that my gift is like encouragement. Like I'm a really good encourager. I hope that I can like help you get excited about it, but I'm not organized. And so I was like, do I make things better for me, for other people? Yes, but I know that I need to go, like, I know that I need to go make a binder that has onboarding, everything they need. They're getting started binder so that I can hand it to them so that I can do a better job at this. But anyway, that was what I thought of whenever I read that question. What do y'all think of? Do I make things better for the people who follow me? I'll give y'all a couple of examples, and I really do want to hear from y'all on this. Like, so Brittany, I was at her retreat recently. She literally makes everyone around her feel safe. Like it is a gift of hers. When people are around her, they feel safe. They feel like they can speak freely. They feel at home. Like Brittany is cozy. Like she knows how to challenge people, but she also makes you feel safe. And that is a total gift. And she's like your friend that you didn't even know you needed, but everybody needs. And so like, does she make things better for the people who follow her? Absolutely. Like she is like a whole community in one, like one human. So that is one way that you make people's lives better, just by being in your circle.
I feel like the question is, kind of difficult to answer, especially, when you're reading this, and just like, at the very beginning of this call, you said you're reading this being completely critical of yourself. And so I think it does cause you to question, yeah, I think I'm doing a good job at that, but am I really? And I mean, I have a pretty new team that's working. And so I think I'm adding value, and I think I'm helping them. And I think that, it's improving what they're doing, but we're kind of waiting for the fruit to see if that's true or not, and I just feel like it's difficult to be completely honest with yourself about that, because there's a lot of unknown.
I feel that, Amy, and I don't know if you're like me, but I think sometimes I question if I'm adding value, like, because you mentioned this earlier, like when the chat is kind of quiet. Like I'm like, well, did anyone like that video? Did anyone watch it? Did anyone feel inspired by what I said? Like, and so I don't know, because you mentioned that earlier, I don't know if you're like me, because sometimes I measure myself whether it's a good or bad thing. Like sometimes I'm like, well, I don't really know. I think it was valuable, but
I even asked that question in my chat, because there was a couple of days where I didn't do it because we were moving Kaylee in and those sort of things. But you know, I almost quit doing it because I'm like, it's just crickets. I send this stuff and it was about the time I was reading this chapter about the law of addition. And it's like, if you're not adding, you're subtracting. And I'm like, there's givers and there's takers. And I'm like, I feel like my team is just a bunch of takers. And then I'm like, well, what can I do about that? You know, why is it that way? And so that's when I started brainstorming about, so I mentioned it in the chat and a couple of the girls were like, oh my gosh, no, the stuff that you've been sending is helping me so much. And I was like, okay, I'll keep doing it then, but I don't know why we need that reassurance, but we do, and so I think sometimes it's easier to recognize things about other people and be able to say, yeah, you're totally adding value because you're a whole community in yourself, because you can see it about other people, but you can't necessarily recognize it about yourself.
Yeah. You are so right, but also you are adding value to your team. You are like, and so I want to encourage you to, this is like a gap in the game moment. It's like it is so easy to go like, I could be better at this. I actually don't know if then all these like question marks start coming. And leadership really is like so much about just being confident in your offer. And so go be confident in what you're offering and say, I am adding value because I am doing this. I am adding value. And sometimes the results don't match, and that's okay. Like we're leading people with different personalities, with different work ethics. You can't control that. And so and also sometimes a quiet chat, like I just want to flip the script on that a little bit. Sometimes a quiet chat means they are working or they're working through something. And so I don't always assume my chat is quiet, we suck. Like, and so if you can just change that to like, my chat is quiet, they're working through things. How can I assist them individually and help them work through those better? And that's always been a mindset that's really helped me not like go down a rabbit hole, Okay. I was trying to make sure I got everything on this one. Okay. Did y'all have anything in this section that you just really love? Adding value. One more thing. Treating people well and giving them credit. I sucked at this so bad because it's not that I love credit. I just really, really love leaderboards. Like my trainer recently gave me, like, he told me to start wearing my Apple Watch. I'm obsessed. Like, it's bad. Like, I don't stop until these rings are closed. And Zach was like, Jordan, are you okay? I was like, no, I'm not okay. I've got to finish. And so like, I am just really obsessed with all of it. Like, I just love it so much. And it's not really that healthy, but giving people credit, y'all, have y'all ever had an idea or you did something and you taught it to somebody on your team? Don't do it. It's not healthy. Have you ever taught somebody something on your team and then you see them give somebody else credit for teaching it to them? Or you see them and they take credit, like, this was my idea. Like, early on, I was like, hey, wait, remember we talked about that? Like, now I've just learned, okay, that's awesome. They think it's theirs, and that's great. And they probably did put their spin on it. And truthfully, someone taught it to me. So like, really, I should be giving so-and-so credit. So that's another thing about adding value to people is realizing the credit doesn't have to be mine. It's not how far we advance ourselves, it's how far we advance others. Who can you go celebrate and make them feel like, I just did something cool, I just did something new, this was my idea? That adds a whole lot of value to people when they have an idea and then they get to go teach it to others. It like turns on light bulbs for them. Okay, anything else in here that y'all loved before we go? We've gone through really fast. If not, I want to encourage y'all to look at the homework on page 60. I really love number 2. It says, what did the closest, let's see, make a list of the most important people in your life, from home, church, hobbies, all the things. and write out what each person values most. That was kind of going back to what you were talking about, Brittany, right? And so I really, really love that. Like if you do that for your top 20% and you do that every quarter or so, because we know our top 20% can kind of shift a little, like how impactful would that be if you knew what they valued? And like that's like way past motivation. And like that goes into their core values, which is actually one of the reasons I love having my girls do their core values. So anyway, there was that. So anyway, I really love the homework on this addition one. And yeah, that's all I got. Anything y'all want to say before we leave? I have a little surprise for y'all next week. Don't say anything to anyone. Just promise me you will be on our call next week, okay? With a pen and paper and awake eyes. Oh, you want to know what they're dropping tomorrow? Hold on. It's a sale for Labor Day. Remember that Liberty drink pack thing that we did? I'm pretty sure it's that. But like for Labor Day. But let me go double
it's a
check.
drink pack.
It is. Okay, Jordan. Oh yeah, Jordan, it's all about. Woo-hoo! Tell us all the details, Jordan.
Yeah, the same thing they did for 4th of July. It's that pack, the slim, the active, and it's $15 off.
Does it work for new VIPs also?
Oh yes. And let me look. I'll send the graphic. And it runs through September 2nd.
We should have stopped recording. Can you stop recording?